Yo, 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 dudettes and dudes, what up? It's your favorite gamer on the internet. That's right, sheepdog with a capital G. G is in the house. And I must tell you, I'm obsessed with Secret of the Mimic. I watched the gameplay from Ash on GT Live, Darko, fnaf, and boy, it's just so freaking good. So let's get these lambs chopped and seasoned right away because the Mimic sure as hell hungers for some meat. But that robot is still programmed to resemble a little boy, a kind of loved son, loved in a really weird, twisted sense. But anyway, we shouldn't just throw a piece of bloody flesh in its face and instead remind little D of his humanity with a nice meal. And what fits better with some buttery soft meat than a creamy sauce of mycelium men? Looking at those little creatures, they most likely resemble fly agarics, or if you guys wanted a little more sciencey, manita muscaria. I'm not sure why I just changed into this weird Italian Spanish accent. But anyway, muscaria is the Latin word for fly, an ancient symbol for lunacy. Remember Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Yeah, that guy and his homies didn't just physically fly high, if you know what I mean. Reindeer in Finland and Siberia are said to dig up fly agarics even from under the snow to experience its psychedelic effects. To stay Christmas themed, also the indigenous people of those regions, like the Koryaks and Kamchatkales, eat Amanita muscaria during ceremonial rituals at the winter solstice, which is around December 21st. Amanita muscaria can often be found under pines, trees of life in the beliefs of the Nordic people, and hence a place imbued with sacredness. The shamans believed to be blessed with prophecies and the ability to communicate or even turn into animals, often reindeer, after eating from the mushroom. To honor the fly agaric, they wear red and white clothes and often have to enter their yurts through a hole in the roof since the main door is often covered in snow during winter season. So I guess you could conclude something a bit stronger than Coca-Cola brought our jolly Mr. Santa to life. The fly agaric can also be found in other cultures, like Germanic Nordic mythology. It is said that starting with the winter solstice until January 6th, Odin and a group of supernatural hunters consisting of ghosts, witches, elf demon dogs, and probably a lot more nightmare creatures storm the earth, slashing everything in their way to death. Hence the tradition to not wash clothes or hang them outside to dry, because those creatures could get caught in the laundry and haunt you. But back to our fly agarics, Odin, head of the hunt, supposedly spurs his eight-legged horse so harshly that red blood and white foam from this godly animal fall down to earth, and where it touches the ground becomes our Amanita muscaria. Because of its divine origin, people believe the psychedelic effects of the mushroom to be a stronger connection, a tool given from the gods to communicate with them. Okay, enough with this glittery mystical side of the mushroom. Let's have a look at his darker chemical side. The structure most prominently causing the toxic and hallucinogenic effects is muscimol. This guy is a structure analogous to gamma aminobutyric acid, short GABA. If we were in a game, you could say they would be wearing the same skin. Badooms. Okay, no more dad jokes. GABA is one of the chill neurotransmitters in our body. Neurotransmitters are the messengers between nerve cells and can be divided into two groups. The first group is type Nightmare Bonnie, loud and tough, more officially called excitatory. Adrenaline would be an example, and this group increases the chance the next neuron will fire. The other group is more vibe cleanovac, tranquil and calm, or more formally called inhibitory. They reduce this chance the next neuron will fire. GABA would be an example for this group. Now, what happens when you consume muscimol? Due to its similarity to GABA, muscimol can use the same binding site at the receptor and also activate it. That makes muscimol a competitive agonist. Competitive because it competes with GABA for the same binding site, and agonist because it can activate the receptor. As a consequence, the neural signal transmission is stalled, leading to symptoms like dizziness, tiredness, euphoria, or ataxia, which is just a fancy word for loss of control over a muscle movement. Now, how exactly is the signal transmission? If GABA, or in our case muscimol, are released from the synapse, the presynapse to be precise, and activate a GABA receptor on a synapse of the following neuron, called the postsynapse, a so-called inhibitory postsynaptic potential, EPSP, is triggered. Now, this just means an influx of negative charge chloride ions through the chloride channel integrated and due to activation opened in the receptor. Since the inside of a cell is negatively charged compared to the extracellular room surrounding it, there is a potential along the membrane. In the resting state of the cell, it is minus 70 millivolts charge. The mimic was created in the 70s. Coincidence? Anyways, to provoke a neuron to fire, or more scientific to trigger an action potential, this membrane potential must get smaller. Usually this happens through an influx of positive charged ions, called cations, into the nerve cell. Looking at muscimol, the opposite is the case. With chloride, we have an influx of negative charged ions, also named anions. This leads to an increase of the membrane potential, and thus a reduced probability for the neuron to fire / to set off an action potential. Well, my neurons are definitely overheated and tired right now, so I'll go grab that sugary cupcake from Chica to fill up my energy. Keep on gaming until next time, cause watching those monitors closely is the only way to survive the night. See you next time, your sheep diggity dog.